We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Nice. Okay. All right, Al Green.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
Nice. He's saying he has no mandate.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Yo, are you kidding me?
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land.
Yeah, Big Nick. What's up?
The
Welcome.
people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it.
Meanwhile, I was watching the coverage of this earlier, and the commentator, everyone just treats this as normal. They're like, we want to hear what he has to say about the border. We're looking forward to hearing what he's going to say about the economy.
Presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many.
So we saw, oh, it already is a Russia-USA alliance.
Is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that?
What is he talking
I don't know
about?
about that list, but we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result,
They've been
illegal
juicing the
voter
numbers.
crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
I wonder if the networks are doing live fact checks. I couldn't figure out a way. I'm going to try to switch to a network here real quick.
They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history.
Oh, come on.
Hundreds of
Oh, hold on one second. I'm going to try to get this.
all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country.
Listen to these members
Who
of
would want to do
Congress
that?
insulting each other in the background.
This is my fifth such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do.
Oh, that's because you're destroying the
I could find
country.
a cure to the most devastating disease.
This is his
A
speech.
disease that would wipe out entire nations or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history.
Look at these children,
Or
man.
the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these
Why would they?
astronomical achievements.
All right,
They
I like
won't do
these
it, no matter
signs.
what. Five times I've been up here.
Why would they
It's
cheer?
very sad.
Look at this sociopath, this
shouldn't be this way.
narcissist. I mean,
So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America?
like what?
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
Pelosi looks like she's on her way out.
Every day, my
I'm sick to
administration
my
is
stomach.
fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
They're cheering for the death of children. What's up, Aqua Fortress?
The ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council.
You missed Congressman Al Green. Yeah, you missed lies.
Far less safe and totally unaffordable.
You missed him putting down the Democrats, saying they'll never even cheer. There's nothing they'll do to cheer for me. I can't say anything.
Vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction.
He literally, his tariffs are going to have a massive impact on our auto manufacturers.
To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just
That's
like I did
just
in my very
stupid.
successful first term.
That didn't happen in his first term.
And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. we ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job.
They're closing down the offices at the same time they're asking people to show up to their jobs. They're literally ending the leases at multiple offices.
Viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
What happened to J.D. Vance, man? I mean, we know what happened to him. He took a lot of money from Peter Thiel. And, but like cut to the, like, that should say lies instead of false.
All government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
He literally tweeted yesterday, or truthed, whatever you want to call it, that protests would be put down and people would be deported and they would be arrested and expelled from their colleges, and colleges would not get any funding.
Of the United States of America.
So, and he's also attacking the free press every single day. He has attacked ABC, NBC. He has filed frivolous lawsuits against them.
The Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America.
This is so stupid. These is all distractions from the fact that he is destroying the country to enrich himself and his buddies.
Likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again.
United fan, welcome in. I do need you to know that I am a Liverpool fan, but that's okay. We can be friends in this moment.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer.
What does that even mean? Define woke. What a nightmare.
We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender.
And what about Pete Hegseth? What about the new chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff? What about Kash Patel? What about Dan Bongino?
Based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
What a nightmare. What a bunch of corrupt...
The poison of critical race theory from our public schools. And
critical race theory was never taught in our public schools.
Official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male
Scientifically,
and female.
There are intersex people who exist. Well, the Supreme Court aren't going to clap because they like pretend that they're not corrupt and they weren't hired by Leonard Leo to do all this shit.
Men from playing in women's sports.
There's the Daily Caller crew right there, Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, paid by the Wilkes brothers,
high school athlete, one of the best,
to spread hate.
Future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side, and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding. And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened
sucks,
in the
Big
women's
Nick.
boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women.
Big Nick, I hear
It's
you.
very bad for our country.
Big
We're
Nick's
not
in
gonna
this
put
other
up
chat,
with it any longer.
kind of trolling me, saying, how's it feel living in Russia? Imagine voting to become Russian. Big Nick has the luxury of living in Australia.
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen.
What do you mean never go back? Are you
Among
going to
my very
eliminate
highest
trans people?
Priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families.
The
As
stock
you know,
market
we
is crashing.
inherited
He's
from the last
destroying. I'm
administration
literally writing a
an
piece right now
economic
about how
catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs,
It's
and
all a
drove
scam.
the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
it's not happening. The stock market is crashing. They are going to destroy the FEC, the FDIC, the SEC. They literally rolled back an anti-money laundering law today.
The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited
This
a total
is
mess from the previous
so
administration.
dumb.
Do a good job.
Oh, cool. Some Democrats are leaving, I think. All right. Down with that.
A
Nice.
major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now.
Are they?
And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
This is the dumbest shit.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
That's our public lands that he's going to destroy. It's been the plan all along.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
He literally, the crypto reserve there is just to take our taxpayer dollars and give them to Bitcoin investors.
Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
You know, I try to be positive, but fuck these guys, man.
Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified.
He's going to say so many lies right now.
$22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000
So sorry, everyone. Hold on.
to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia.
Is this his speech? This is his whole speech?
$47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. We know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million.
You're literally
for
going to
DEI
defund and
contracts at
delete the Department of Education.
The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found
literal
hundreds
Nazis.
of billions of dollars of fraud.
Edward Korestein has literally created websites with the N-word in them that refer to sexually assaulting women, that refer to child abuse.
And we've taken
These are
back
like the worst
money
of the worst
and reduced
people.
our debt to fight inflation.
These hackers that are
and other
inside our
things.
system.
Taking back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old.
These are lies.
It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139.
These are just lies. Are people believing this?
3.5 million people
They are.
from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them. And we're
Where's
searching
the Democratic
right now.
response of "you lie," like that
Pam,
guy shouted
good
at
luck.
Obama that one time?
Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does. And it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I
These are just
thought. Bobby.
dumb lies. I mean, these are the folks who like laugh, I guess, at the Greg Gutfeld show. And like, what are they? I can't believe Elise Stefanik, man. These people, like, what is going on?
To finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One
Mike
person
Johnson
between the
is
age of
acting.
240 and
J.D. Vance
249,
is
and
smelling
one person
something.
is listed at 360 years of age.
This
More than
isn't
100 years.
funny.
More than 100 years
This just
older than our
isn't-
country.
I mean, it's not funny in so many ways, but
We're going to find out where that money's going, and it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
if you appreciate that I am doing this and you're on TikTok, could you please tap the screen like Elon Musk wants us to, like the social media overlords want us to, so that we can
And today,
at least
interest
promote
rates
a
took a
pushback on
beautiful drop.
these
Big, beautiful
lies.
drop.
I'm trying to follow the fact check
And
sites.
in the near future,
but they can't
I want
keep up.
to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
No, they're not. This is the weirdest shit. They are not going to balance the federal budget. They are going to add like $5 trillion to the federal budget with a tax break for the wealthy. These people
With
are
that goal in
ghouls,
mind,
man, and
we
I
have
just hope
developed
that they
in
all
great
get the therapy
detail
that they need.
What we are calling the gold card, which goes on sale
Total,
very, very soon.
total fraud, total
For
corruption.
$5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S.
So he's created a
citizenship.
tax
It's like
haven.
the green card, but better and more sophisticated.
He's created.
And these people
Yeah,
will
they're
have
all
to
getting
pay
rich.
tax in our
It's
country.
true.
They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border, insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country. We will now bring in brilliant, hard-working,
Nothing's destroying our country except for this guy.
They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
We're not reducing the debt. This is a scam. They're getting rid of the SEC. They're getting rid of the FDIC. He just rolled back anti-money laundering laws. He has this crypto reserve, which is a crypto strategic reserve, is based on nothing. It's just taking our tax dollars and giving them to wealthy people.
Crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
True democracy. From the guy who attempted a coup and lies about elections, we'll get true democracy. From the party that passes vote suppression laws based on those lies.
From office immediately.
What did he say?
Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
Like Elon Musk. So what I would do is before getting kicked out, I would walk directly in front of a camera, and I'd pick up one of the microphones, and I would just say, Donald Trump is lying to you. He is betraying you. Check back with me in 8 months, and then let's move forward from there.
They're waiting for you to vote, and I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax.
What a travesty. How's Joe Rogan going to spin this one? How is Ben Shapiro going to spin this one?
A very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
None of that was in their proposal.
And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
Wow, what a hero.
And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it?
I can't wait to get in the streets.
That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world.
Who's going to be able to afford the cars once the economy has crashed? So apparently Rep. Melanie Stansbury from New Mexico, a Democrat, held up a sign that said this is not normal, and another
a date which will
Republican
go
congressman
down as
ripped it out of
the most
her hands.
important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country. First term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them?
What a weirdo. Guys, can you tap the
nations
screen?
charge us
Not because you like
tremendously
this,
higher
but just to
than
get
we
more people
charge
in here,
them. It's
if you
very
don't mind.
unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea.
It's,
but that's what
it's
happens.
paid by the consumer anyway,
This is
so
happening by
what does he
friend
care?
and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But
Well,
we're going
get
to do
Doge
it
on
in
it, you
April.
creep.
I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us.
He knows the
we will
definition of
tax them.
reciprocal. The camera choices are really weird.
Non-monetary
It's
tariffs
like random cuts to random people.
to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer.
Chris Coons is a loser,
Much
by
has
the
been
way.
said over the last 3
Taking
months
crypto
about
money.
Mexico and Canada.
He's approving all
We have
these
very
nominees.
large deficits with both of them, but even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market. announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA.
But we got rid of our, we fired tons of people from our National Institute of like Systems and Measurements.
And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people, and they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to.
Type away in the chat, y'all. Tell me what you think about all this.
Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer.
Literally, the farmers are getting destroyed.
Into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies, they're really in a bad
Our farmers literally export
ways.
lots of food around the world, and the tariff war is going to crush the farmers.
Disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen.
What? Have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too.
And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and
Trump's
steel.
policies are directly hurting farmers. 40% of food for USAID was grown by our farmers. 40% of farm laborers are undocumented. Farmers need accurate weather reports.
Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama. Jeff Denard has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us, very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much, and I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it.
Sorry, Neo. This is the opposite of what you wanted to see.
Of the United States.
Neo's used to my Rev Deuce character who's full of joy and positivity, and Neo has, like the lobster guy in Star Wars, Neo, it's a trap! It's a trap! So I finally found a good way to fact check
His
live.
work has yielded incredible results,
which
helping
is
prepare our nation's future leaders
refreshing
as they
constantly on
enter
Blue
the
Sky.
workforce. Our First Lady is joined by two impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher, and Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deep-fake image produced
That's
by a
interesting
peer.
that they are going
With
to
Elliston's
praise
help,
this young
the
lady
Senate just
becoming a
passed
teacher
the
when
Take It
literally
Down
I
Act,
see MAGA all the
and
time
this is so
online
important. Thank you very much.
crapping
John
all
Thune,
over
thank you.
teachers,
Stand up.
calling them indoctrinators, all of
Thank
this
you,
kind of
John.
stuff. This woman on the right had a deep fake,
Thank you all very
like
much.
revenge porn thing made about her. I'm not really sure. I feel for her, but I'm not really sure why that's like a very pressing issue
Thank
for our
you to
country. But I
John
guess it
Thune and the Senate.
touches the
Great
part
job.
of the brain, the lizard part of the brain for people who
Publication
like
of
are
such
so
images
scared that women
online
are
is terrible, terrible thing.
under attack by
And
the
once it passes
bogeymen
the
that they
House, I
create.
look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody.
Donald Trump is currently making
That's great. Thank you
millions
very
and
much to the
millions,
Senate.
if
Thank
not
you.
more, of dollars
But if we truly care
with
about
corrupt
protecting
crypto
Americans'
schemes
children, no
right
step
now while this is
is more
happening.
crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to.
He released the January 6th
Last year,
coup attempters who beat and maimed and killed police.
a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop watching this. I have better things to do.
The media,
I'll get
and
the
our
updates.
friends in the Democrat Party
Have a great night,
kept saying
everybody.
we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really
Or
needed.
there's 4 people
There's a
watching.
new
I need you to
president.
hop in the chat. I need you to get in the chat. You Twitch folks, I need you to get in the chat. Tell me how you feel about this. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me the ways that you're going to involve yourself in the resistance to all of these lies and the destruction of our country.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungary from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight, I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
Oh, man. So much performative stuff. Any ability to fact check these things? Yeah, so King Boomstick, I can give you some fact checks. What did you want to know? I mean, you know, these anecdotal crimes that happened are terrible, and, you know, but this is all very, like, performative. We feel horrible for the people that this happened to, but
Thank you very much. All
hit me
3
with it.
savages charged with
I'm primed and ready to go
Jocelyn
for your
Lakin's
desire for a fact
murders
check.
were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua.
You know, it's
2 weeks
unlikely.
ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations.
Interestingly, the Mexican president said that, you know, the ones who are funding the terrorist organizations, rather, I'm sorry, supplying them with guns are U.S. arms manufacturers. So there's a legal battle going on, and I believe the president of Mexico added more.
Category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that
One
battle.
thing that's been happening, King Boomstick, is there's a guy from
Ortiz.
Forbes on Blue Sky who is he's taking the tweets of Democratic congresspeople and senators and then reminding everyone who those Democratic senators and congresspeople voted for in terms of the Trump nominees. I'll try to find that for you, put that in the chat.
In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area
I like to hear
known
that
as
noise.
Cartel
Hell
Island.
yeah.
Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily
Check out all my
armed
stuff on
gunmen
TikTok and
started
Instagram
shooting
and
at
YouTube.
them,
Also, Boomstick.
Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you.
Trying to find
and
some
we
other
will
fact checks for
always
you.
honor you.
The
Thank
fact
you,
checks from like
Roberto, very much.
PolitiFact and NPR and stuff like that. Whatever organizations are doing live fact checks are like way too late. They're like 10 minutes. They come up and fact check something that happened 10 minutes ago. Blue Sky is not really great for this, but I'm trying my best.
And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border.
The stuff that he was
He's a
saying
great-
about
great
farmers
gentleman.
earlier is total
The territory
horseshit.
to the immediate south of
you know,
our
the
border
tariffs are
is
gonna
now
destroy our
dominated
farmers.
entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total
You know,
control. They
he's
have total
demonizing
control
immigrants right now
over
as
a
we
whole
speak
nation,
by talking about
posing a
these
grave threat to our
horrific
national
criminal
security.
cartels.
The cartels are waging war in America, and it's time for America to wage war
You know,
on the cartels.
in Colorado, when there was apparently, that gang that was terrorizing that one apartment complex, apparently that wasn't everything that it was cracked up to be. Local officials said it wasn't happening the way that Donald Trump was saying it was
5 minutes
happening.
ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker,
A woman who
John
shoots
Thune,
dogs
both of you,
and
I hope you're gonna be able
wrestling
to do that, Mr.
CEO
Speaker. Thank
pictured
you.
there.
Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it.
So Julie Johnson, who is a representative from Texas, says, I sit on the House Homeland Security Border Enforcement Subcommittee. I've been to the border and spoken to people on the front lines. I am Texan. We need real security solutions and leaders that are held accountable for the taxpayer funds they spend. That's not what's happened down here to date.
In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has
These
acted
are
swiftly
lies.
and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bondi, good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you.
Cash is a conspiracy theorist and a liar. He's not a credible witness. He was deemed in a federal case to be not credible as a witness, which means that he couldn't be asked to testify in any federal case. That's how uncredible he was determined to be by a judge. And he is the head of the
We're also once
FBI.
again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so
If you want to talk
deserve.
about
They have to get
respecting
it. They have such
police
a
officers,
hard, dangerous,
obviously
but we're gonna
you
make it
wouldn't
less
release
dangerous.
people who
The problem is
maimed,
the bad guys don't
killed,
respect
and
the law,
beat
but they're
them
starting to respect it, and they
during
soon
the
will
coup attempt
respect
that
it.
you fomented.
This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them.
He
And
attacked the
besides that,
LA
they
Fire
voted for me in
Department.
record numbers, so I have no choice. One year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much.
Oh, hey, Holly. Hey, Holly, how's
Stephanie,
it going?
we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest. And
Yeah,
we're going
it's
to get
just
these
anecdotes.
cold-blooded
It's been
killers
anecdotes
and
for the
repeat
last like
offenders off our streets, and we're
34
gonna do it
minutes.
fast.
30, 40
Gotta stop
minutes.
it. They get out with 28 arrests. They
It's
push people into
just
subway trains.
anecdotes
They hit people over the
that
head, back
distract
of the head
from
with baseball bats.
Donald Trump's
We got to get
own.
them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law. I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers.
So while we're
so
watching
they can do
this,
their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed.
while we're watching this, apropos of Trump's talk
Joining us
about
in the gallery tonight is a
the
young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this down for a second. I don't know if that's turning it down. But so Fox Business, of all places, interviewed the owner of a Pennsylvania auto dealership who says of Trump's tariffs, quote, "Nobody is going to buy the truck because it just had $20,000 price increase. This is pretty radical." So that just shows you a little bit of the juxtaposition of what's going on here. And now we're holding up a tiny police officer. That's where we're at in this political theater.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live.
And Donald
That
Trump
was more than
has
6
cut
years ago.
medical research funding for cancer research. So we're happy for this kid. We're grateful that this kid is doing better. But, you know, Donald Trump, meanwhile, is cutting funding for these sorts of things, for the research in cancer.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Okay, that's it for me, guys. I'm out. It's just dumb political theater, and I'm out. I love you. How can you spread fact-based information that aligns with your values tomorrow? I want you to go get all the fact checks, spread them on your social media. This is an information war. The fact that Donald Trump is delivering this speech in the first place means that we have lost the information war to Vladimir Putin, to Elon Musk, to Mark Zuckerberg, to the oligarchs who are on the other sides of our phones at all times. So do whatever you can to spread healthy information. I'll see you the next time I see you. I love you. You have to fight like hell, or you're not going to have a country anymore. Sorry.
DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger.
Okay, well,
since 1975, rates
Donald
of
Trump
child
is
cancer
going
have
to roll
increased by
back
more than
all
40%.
manner of EPA protections,
Reversing this
all
trend
manner
is one
of
the top
FDA and
priorities
USDA
for our new
protections.
presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new
Chaired by one of the most
Health and
unhealthy
Human
people on the
Services,
planet, who has
Robert
destroyed
F.
his
Kennedy
voice with
Jr.
steroids, who packs lips of nicotine during congressional hearings, who chainsaws whales and puts dead bears into his trunk. All right, I'm out. I'll catch you on the flip side, everybody.